Hello, everyone, and welcome to another weekly market recap for the US markets. Sorry I missed last week. Some family stuff came up that didn't allow me to get on and get this done. And in saying that, this week I have been away from the markets a fair bit. I've been checking in every now and again. I managed to get a bit of analysis done last weekend, but not much trading done this week. And being away from the markets, I have had a red week, unfortunately. Hope you all did a bit better than I did. But anyway, yeah, so without further ado, let's get into it. So, looking at the SPX for this week, I've highlighted the week that we've had. I'll just bring up a vertical line of where the week started. So, week started 19th. So here, as you can see from the vertical line here, we can see that we've just gone up and down this little range here this week after a killer week last week. That is honestly to be expected after the run we've had over the last couple of weeks. Look at this immense run we've had. I wouldn't actually be too surprised to see a bit of a cool off in the next couple of weeks, especially with what's coming up, which I'll go into very shortly. Okay, so looking at some economic factors for this week. I haven't had a look at the economic figures that will be released this week, but just a couple of headlines that I've been keeping up with. The earnings week this week is absolutely huge. A lot of companies reporting this week. Let's have a look. This will be it. So here you can see it here. We've got a huge earnings week this week. We've got Tesla tomorrow. That's a big one. Philips, another one. Waste Management, Visa, 3M, Eli Lilly, UPS. It's massive every single day. So this week we're in for a bit of a bumpy ride, I think, if we see some shaky earnings reports. Nice comment here. Gambling schedule for next week seems about right. So we just need to be careful this week with the amount of this is huge this week, absolutely huge. So just be careful with your money this week. Aside from that, which one are we on? This one. Yep. Aside from that, last week we had Joe Biden announce new capital gains taxes for the US, something to be aware of. After that report came out, there was a big dip in the market. I'm not sure if anybody else noticed, but it was pretty huge. I'm pretty sure it's Thursday night. As I said, I was pretty out of markets last week, but I did notice that happened. But the market seemed to brush it off and recover quite well into the close on Friday. Another thing to think about is the COVID numbers throughout the globe. India seeing a huge spike, a couple 100,000 cases a day, and I think it was either yesterday or Friday, 2,500 deaths, unfortunately, for them over there. So something to be mindful of. I've also had little whispers come in of COVID, the mutations of the virus, and it being sort of resistant to antibodies. Whether that's bullshit or not, we'll find out in the next couple of weeks. But just something to be aware of. Vaccines still rolling out, hundreds of thousands a day. Hopefully we see some good things from that, and some positive news over the next week or so. All right, moving into sector breakdowns. So having a look here, we've got all the sectors here. Just go back to year to date. All right, that's year to date. So we've got, again, energy still leading the pack, okay, but has taken a huge dip here at the start of the week there, dropping about 3% there at the start of the week, with financials lagging behind there, consolidating for the week. The white line here is the start of the week there, so financials consolidating for the week. Real estate doing really, really well this week, which is good. Starting out from around 13.5% and reaching 2% higher, which is really good for that sector. Then we have industrials consolidating along there. Then we've got materials as well, just consolidating alongside, as well as communication and internet services, XLC. Then behind that, we've got the SPY, the SPY, the SPX ETF, sitting at 11, just under 11.5% in the positive for the year, seeing this big consolidation throughout the week here, little W pattern there. So we'll see how next week goes. Then we got tech there, again consolidating, sort of conforming to the same as the SPY there. Then behind that we have healthcare that's really taken advancement this week, which is good. Again, another 2% there for them. XLU, so utilities, taking a bit of a dive. Only down a small amount, but still lagging behind the rest of the sectors. Again, as I said last week, the regulations on this sector doesn't really surprise me why it's sort of lagging behind there. Something I wanted to mention was Bitcoin. Could this be... Oh, that's not a good chart. Let's have a look somewhere else. All right. Yeah, let's have a look at this one. All right, Bitcoin, here we go. Oof, look at that drop. Could this be the start of the end? 2017 all over again. Now, a lot of people that know me know I'm not the greatest fan of crypto, partially because I don't really understand it that well, but just because of the massive hype behind it. So, sitting down here at the 100 EMA, I think I've got it at, yep, 100 EMA. Let's see if that area holds. If it drops from there, okay, we could see a fall to around 45,000-ish. And then a drop from there. It's a bit of a free fall to the next bit of support. So just be careful if you are trading crypto. All right, let's go into open and closed positions for the week. So open positions for this week. I opened Netflix on Friday after the huge drop off from earnings. Okay, they beat on earnings, but they missed on subscribers. I think they've missed by about 2 million subscribers. So not a real bad result. Nice little drop down to around support here. Hoping to see a bit of a push up from there. Won't be bag holding this below this sort of point here, 495, 490-ish. Yeah, because of the price of the stock is quite high compared to my account size. Well, quite high for my account size to be playing around with a stock like that. But taking on that for this week. Position closed for this week, unfortunately, for quite a big loss, unfortunately, was Canadian National Railways. There was a bit of a debate for a acquisition, I think, between a couple of train railway services in Canada, causing the drop on this one, unfortunately. One day to earnings as well. That would be interesting, that play. I might actually keep an eye on that tomorrow. But yeah, unfortunately, got out around this 109, 108 area. Didn't want to be holding that. Didn't like how it was moving and how quickly it was dropping. So just decided to cut the loss. Unfortunately, that's the one that took well, made up most of the loss for the week for me. Unfortunately. On the other hand, STX, my STX position looking very, very nice. Hopefully this will continue, but we'll see how it goes. All right, going into some trade ideas I have for next week. No, on this one. Okay, so first one, Fastly Inc. Still keeping an eye on this. It's sort of deciding what it wants to do. 10 days to earnings though, so just keeping an eye on this for now. Teladoc Health, same thing, deciding what it wants to do. I think it will make a move after earnings, but we'll see which direction. Okay, WD-40 starting to curl back up, finding a little bit of support down here at the 200-day moving average. Hopefully we can see a bit of a push up. I think I'll take a starter position on this next week, depending on how the general market opens and how the stock itself opens. Advanced Micro Devices, AMD, got a little chart pattern here. The lower lows coming upwards and higher highs sort of consolidating there. So looking to see what happens there. It breaks above this point, so around maybe 85-ish. I'll look to maybe take a starter and see how it goes. Okay, next one, Nike, a little bit of a drop. They haven't, I think, I was a little confused as to why they made this drop here. This one was from earnings, this drop here, but this one I was a little confused on. I'm pretty sure it's I can't remember, I think it's LeBron or Kobe, I can't remember. The basketball player crossover franchise is looking to be discontinued. I think it may be Kobe Bryant. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it is. His line looking to be discontinued. That's the only real news I could see over the last couple of days. Through some of our other sources, I asked around there as well to see if there was any news that they'd heard. They were saying things about China and their civil rights or human rights, sorry. But I think that was a couple of months ago. The story was going around for that one, so I'm not too sure if it's that. But yeah, all I could see was a Kobe Bryant franchise being discontinued. Whether that was the drop, I wasn't 100% sure. But looking for a push up on this, may take a starter. Again, seeing how the market opens and this stock itself. Virgin Galactic SPCE looks like it's found a floor after this bloody failure here, but something to look out for is the head and shoulders pattern here. Okay, I'll be wary of that. Earnings in 9 days as well. Might be a little bit careful on this one. HAE, I'm not even going to attempt to say that, but one that I found on the scanner, massive drop off. I don't think earnings were too bad. I think it's just a bit of an overreaction. And the loss of this was it. The loss of the plasma collection equipment center. So that will be something to be careful. Well, to make, they'll have to find something to make up for that huge revenue gap there. But we'll see again how they do this week. They have earnings coming up as well in a couple of weeks' time. We'll see how we go with that on Monday. Market Access Holdings, bit of a dip here, gap down on earnings. A little bit of a miss, but I looked into the financials and they seem to be on the rise, same as their users and revenues and earnings. So seem to be on the rise. Bit of a miss from estimates, but yeah, a little bit of an overreaction there. So we're looking at that one on Monday as well. Airbnb is next. Looking to see if this can curl straight back up here. Still sort of trying to find where it will settle, the price of this stock. Looking like a little bit of support around here at 165-ish. Get a nice little bounce up there and a bounce up previously. We'll see how this one goes. Just keeping an eye on it for now. Intel, huge gap down on earnings. No, I don't think it was earnings. I think it was projections they dropped on. Revenue, near-term challenges remain. So that will be from resources to make chips and computers. Intel, to be honest, needs to, in my opinion, needs to look at upping their game. I think since they lost Apple as a huge buyer for their chips, that's a huge gap for them to fill. So I'll be keeping an eye on them this week as well. Kimberly-Clark, bit of a gap down on earnings. Same. Just keeping an eye on it, see how it reacts. Lemonade seems to have found a bit of a floor down here at 78. See how this reacts. Again, just keeping an eye. Plug and electric vehicles in general seem to be making a bit of a move at the end of last week. Something to keep an eye on that might have found the floor there. Plug at the 200-day moving average. This and NIO as well. NIO is a couple days out from earnings, so that's why I haven't included it here. Just don't want to even risk it. I'm not a huge fan of these EV companies that aren't yet established, but if it makes you money, it makes you money. Just be careful. Zoom seems to have found a bit of a floor. The lows seem to be consolidating a little bit, but the highs seem to be coming down. So again, keeping an eye on this. It's either going to continue to fall if it breaks this lower line, or it could start its way up if it advances. SBG, following off the rally for real estate, the real estate sector last week. Higher highs, well, the highs are consolidating a little. If it can come back up, it'll be good. And then the lower lows, the lows are starting to come higher. So if it can break this line, the 121, 122 area, could be quite nice for a long, playing the trend and the pattern breakout there. So keeping an eye on that again. Earnings in 15 days, a couple of weeks. Snow seems to have found a bit of a floor there down where they sort of just first started when they IPO'd. Could be interesting to look at this one. If it breaks above this line, could be a bit of a breakout here. See how it goes. 244, 245-ish. Pepsi, climbing towards its 52-week high. If it can push past this a little bit further, I've got an alarm set here for 149.50. Expecting a little bit of resistance at 150, just because it's an even number, psychological number. But then if it can push through that, it should be looking good too. Nice volume here as well, still significantly higher from the lows. So that's good to see. So keeping an eye on that too. Okay, Unilever. I've wanted to get into this for the last couple of weeks, but I've just haven't done it. You know, those type of stocks there that you just don't pull the trigger on. You wish you did. So I want to say this isn't a FOMO trade or a catch-up trade, but we'll see. I like the look of the chart here. It's moving swiftly up in a nice sharp horizontal slope. and really nice volume here as well. So we'll see how that goes next week. Still sort of underneath the drop that it had. So sorry, the gap down that it had. So could be okay. Probably a small starter on that one, if I'll take one. Okay, Lulu, nice little push up after this little bit of consolidation it had here with the highs. Lows sort of playing around a bit after this dip. Bit of a consolidation period between these two areas. Pushing through that, nice little gap up. Well, not gap up. Sorry, nice little push up. Good momentum, nice volume there in the last couple of days. We'll be looking closely at that one to continue with the momentum. Probably, if I take that one, start out with a smaller size position. Keep the stops quite close. Novartis, this is looking nice. The momentum's looking nice on this. Lots of green bars, means lots of buying. Still sitting fairly low, not too close to its lows, but still looking okay for a buy. Only thing to be careful of is earnings in 2 days. So again, if I were to take this one, I'll probably take it after earnings, see what the reaction is, and probably a small starter on this one. Again, if I were to take it, doesn't mean I'm going to. Almost there. HB Inc. looking to continue this awesome trend. We'll see how it goes next week. Earnings in a month, so clear of earnings, which is good. We'll see. You can see I've got a couple of Davis boxes on here. And just pushing out of this recent one. If it can push a little bit higher, maybe above the 34.60 mark, I'll probably take a position from there and see if I can continue riding it up. Next one, Wells Fargo, nice little momentum. No, sorry, nice little trend follow there. Davis box there at the top, qualifying nicely. Looking for a push through this 44.50 range. Probably buy around the 45 mark. And that is all the positions that I'm keeping a close eye on this week. Haven't really looked at any for short puts this week. I'll probably do that during the week. Just see how things go. It's going to be pretty choppy, I think. So just got to bear that in mind as well. And the earnings calendar could really affect this SPX, the NASDAQ, the Dow, and all the other indexes. So just be very careful. Take sure thing positions. Keep your stops close. Don't bag hold positions that are going against you. And just be safe. Could be a bumpy ride this week. That's all I have for you guys tonight. Just keep in mind that none of this is financial advice, and I'm not telling you to take these positions or anything in this presentation isn't meant to be financial advice. Please do your own due diligence. Be careful. If you have any questions about trading, happy to give my opinion, but again, not advice. All right. Hope you guys have an awesome rest of your weekend, and good luck for next week. I'll see you next weekend. Thanks, guys. Happy Anzac Day too. Mad respect for all the serving and ex-serving members. Awesome. Thanks, guys. Good night.